This stock is being ignored right now. Not because it's a bad business. Because almost nobody understands what it actually does. Here's something strange. This company has a market cap of nearly 15,000 crores. But it doesn't mine anything. It doesn't manufacture anything. It doesn't even sell the product everyone assumes it sells. What it sells is trust. Stay with me for the next few minutes because by the end of this video, you'll understand a business model that most retail investors in India have never even thought about. And you'll see numbers that genuinely don't look real at first glance. I'm calling this company the GeM Authority for this video. Watch till the end because the risk I'm going to show you in a few minutes is the one number that decides whether this stock is a bargain or a trap. So here's what's actually going on. The GeM Authority is currently trading around 346 rupees. Its all-time high since listing was 442. Its low was 287. That means the stock has already corrected more than 20% from its peak. It's not sitting at a new high where everyone is excited. It's sitting in the middle, quietly, where most people have stopped paying attention. And that's exactly the zone where interesting things get missed. This is a company that came to the stock market fairly recently. It doesn't have years and years of trading history yet. Which means most of the price action you're seeing is still the market figuring out how to value it. Revenue for the company sits at close to 1,018 crores. That's not a huge number. But hold that thought. Because what happens to that revenue once it hits the bottom line is where this gets interesting. Now, why should you even care about a company like this? Because it operates in a category most investors completely overlook. It doesn't make a physical product you can hold. Instead, it puts its stamp of approval on something valuable. Something worth lakhs, sometimes crores, per single piece. Think about it this way. Every time someone buys a diamond, a piece of jewelry, a precious stone, they want one thing above everything else. Proof. Proof that what they're paying for is genuine. Proof that the quality claimed on paper matches what's actually in their hand. That proof has to come from somewhere. And whoever provides that proof, at scale, across an entire country's jewelry and gem trade, sits in an extremely powerful position. This is not a manufacturer competing on price. This is closer to a gatekeeper. And gatekeepers, historically, tend to make excellent returns on capital. Which brings us to the part of this video that most people watching right now are going to find surprising. Here's what the market seems to be missing. Most people look at this stock, see a modest revenue figure of about 1,000 crores, and assume it's a small, unremarkable business. But look at what that revenue converts into. This is a company that doesn't own factories, doesn't hold heavy inventory, doesn't need machinery upgrades every few years. Its biggest asset is its name and the trust that name carries. That is what's called an asset-light business model. And asset-light businesses, when they have pricing power, can convert revenue into profit at a rate that manufacturing companies can only dream of. That's the part that's easy to miss if you're comparing this to a typical industrial stock. You cannot value a certification and trust-based business the same way you value a factory. One needs capital to grow. The other largely needs reputation to grow. And reputation, once built, is incredibly hard for a new competitor to copy. Let's get into the numbers, because this is where it gets genuinely unusual. Return on capital employed for this company stands at 30.7%. Return on equity stands at 23.2%. For context, most industrial and manufacturing companies in India would consider anything above 18 to 20% on either metric to be excellent. This company is clearing both comfortably. Now notice something. the return on capital employed is meaningfully higher than the return on equity. That gap usually tells you one of two things. Either the company is sitting on a large pile of cash that isn't fully deployed yet, dragging down the equity return. Or there's very little debt on the books, which is actually a sign of a clean, low-risk balance sheet. Next, the valuation. The stock trades at a price-to-earnings ratio of 25.7 times. Book value per share is 60 rupees, while the stock trades at 346. That's roughly 5.8 times book value. That's a premium. But premiums are common for businesses that don't need heavy capital to grow. Dividend yield is low, at 0.73%. That tells you management is choosing to hold onto cash rather than pay it all out. That could mean expansion plans. It could also mean conservative, wait-and-watch behavior. We don't know yet, and that itself is a clue worth tracking. One number I want you to sit with. If you divide the market cap by the price-to-earnings ratio, you get an implied net profit of roughly 580 crores on revenue of about 1,018 crores. That's a net margin north of 55%. That's not a typo. That's unusual. That's the kind of margin you see in licensing and brand-driven businesses, not in ordinary manufacturing or trading companies. I want to flag something honestly here. This margin figure is derived indirectly from the PE ratio and market cap, not read directly off a profit and loss statement. Before you make any decision based on this number, please verify it against the company's latest quarterly filing. Numbers this good deserve double-checking, not blind trust. So what could actually move this stock from here? First, upcoming quarterly results. With margins this high, even a modest revenue beat could swing profit numbers meaningfully, and the market tends to react sharply to that kind of operating leverage. Second, the broader shift happening in India's gem and jewelry industry. Certification and authentication are becoming more important, not less. Consumers are increasingly demanding proof of quality before they buy. Regulatory tightening around hallmarking and disclosure standards for lab-grown versus natural stones only strengthens the position of a trusted certification name. Third, capital allocation. If management starts paying out more of that low dividend yield, or announces a buyback, or expands into new certification categories, that could act as a re-rating trigger. Right now the company is quietly accumulating cash. What it chooses to do with that cash next is worth watching closely. And fourth, simply time. As more trading history builds up since listing, institutional investors get more comfortable owning it, and that alone tends to bring in fresh buying interest that wasn't there in the first year. Now, the one honest risk you need to know before going anywhere near this stock. This business is tied to discretionary spending. Jewelry, gems, gifting, weddings, these are not essential purchases. In a slowdown, in a year where consumer sentiment weakens, or gold and diamond prices swing sharply, the volume of certification work can dip along with it. This isn't a business immune to economic cycles. It's actually quite sensitive to consumer mood. Add to that limited public trading history since listing, which means the stock can be more volatile than a company with 10 years of price data behind it. And a rich valuation, at nearly 6 times book value, means the market has already priced in a lot of optimism. If growth disappoints even slightly, that premium can compress fast. As always, please treat this as educational analysis and not investment advice. SEBI registered investment advisors exist for a reason. Do your own research, check the latest filings, and consult a qualified advisor before making any investment decision. So to summarize, A business that doesn't manufacture, doesn't mine, and doesn't sell what you think it sells. A return on capital most industrial companies would envy. A margin profile that looks almost too good until you understand the model. And a valuation that's rich, but not unreasonable, for a company built entirely on trust. I'm not telling you what to do with this one. I'm telling you to go find out what the GEM Authority really is and decide for yourself whether the market has priced it right. If this kind of breakdown helped you see a stock differently, you know what to do. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.